What does he call you? Just Grandpa? Papa?
Looks like it's 9 o'clock. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll consider for approval minutes and agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda.
I'll second it. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the minutes and agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. 9 a.m. Public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget. Want to open the public hearing?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget.
I'll second it. A motion from Smith and a second from Derby to open the public hearing for the 2024 budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Did we get any public comments this time? Just out of curiosity, since we have these purchases that are going to be over years, the payments or the overall purchase.
The election equipment is actually in their total because it was too late to change it. The technology is in there as a payment.
So I'll put out a call from the public if there's anybody in the room or online that would like to comment on our fiscal year 2024 budget. Once again, if there's anybody in the room or online that would like to comment on our fiscal year 2024 budget. Seeing none. I'll close it.
Motion to close the public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget.
I'll second the motion. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to close the public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Consider for approval fiscal year 2024 budget. Need a motion.
Make the motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget as presented.
I'll second it. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. All right, we'll move down.
We'll need you to sign here.
So do I identify myself as vice chair?
Yes, please. You want to stamp one of them too, please?
forgot to do this. It was passed. Just trying to make sure I show my power here. Hoping Bill heard that. So one of these stamps, you said? Just
Yeah,
right by it?
You can stamp that one.
Everybody done with this? Here we go.
Thank you.
So the CASI subject, is that the sheriff?
No, that is the cost advisory.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to number 8 for now and consider for approval contract with CASI, the cost advisory something. Don't have it in front of me, so.
So the amount is $4,450, and that's annual.
And this is tied to mostly the funding we get through public health. Is it?
DHS.
Oh, DHS. But most of it goes to public health, doesn't it? It doesn't-
It's through our general fund.
Oh, okay.
It's what we get from them for giving them a place in our building.
That part. Okay.
So Sandy reminded us the other day that if any of that moves down there, what do
It'll be
we
part
have
of
to
that.
have a new application for those funds to make sure that we still get them, or?
Probably won't affect this one necessarily.
Well, it'll affect that because they'll have to come in and do new measurements. They'll have to come in and,
So it might have changed.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll be a year from now probably, so
we just have to keep it.
if we're lucky.
Yes.
Professional services provided to Iowa counties by Cost Advisory Services Incorporated. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with CASI Cost Advisory
Services.
Service, Inc.
I'll second the motion. A motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the contract with Cost Advisory Services, Inc. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I suppose
How about this one? The mental health, 2080.
We could probably do drainage right now.
Chris isn't here.
Well, she's not, so she has nothing. Trying to look at something to do in 5 minutes. You want to discuss the Roger Cruz one?
Probably do that in 5 minutes, huh?
Kelsey said she wanted to come down if you were.
Then we probably can't do it in 5 minutes then.
Okay,
Let's save that.
she wants to go through the process.
This one, you've already signed an MOU, so this is just the 28E that follows up the MOU.
So it's stamped, approved, received, there's
No,
places to attest?
just sign.
Okay.
So where are we at on
This
this?
is, all of us sign this one though? or
Oh,
just
this is the
chair?
2080 and number
Uh-huh.
16? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna go to number 16, consider for approval 28E agreement with Cassuth County, Worth County for advocate services.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2080 agreement with Sioux County and Worth County for advocate services.
I'll second the motion. So this is just updating it to, because of the sharing of the
Advocate.
advocate.
Yep, we had a memorandum of understanding until we could get the 2080 put together.
Yep.
And
So,
so now
Who
that
does
that's,
the advocate report to?
Melissa, right?
Melissa?
The
Okay,
head of the region.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Any
Ruth
further-
and I are also in close contact with different things. I'm also asking her to go to that meeting for the opioid stuff so that she can hopefully
Des
find
Moines.
out stuff for the county, how to utilize that better for the county. So she works with all of us.
Okay.
That's the end of May, I think, right before Memorial Day.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got a motion on the floor. We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the approval of the 2080 agreement with Cassuth County, Worth County for advocate services, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah, before I couldn't get through for once. I had my other headset on. It didn't work evidently.
It's quieter now too, so you did something right.
Okay.
All right. Motion carries. Do you have any open forum stuff?
I believe so. Or maybe not. Nope.
I suppose Bill's got to sign something,
Yep.
not here.
Do auditor's transfers, number 18.
All right, number 18, consider for approval auditors transfers. So this has to be notarized then?
Sure.
That's what it says.
Okay.
You saw me do it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
It's on camera, so we can play it back.
I'll make the motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
I'll second it. Motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the auditor's transfers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. I don't give them a chance to vote.
So Terry, to kill more time, who's the advocate we're all sharing?
Ruth Noby.
Huh?
Ruth Noby.
She's already in the system. We were sharing with Worth County before, and she also services Hancock County too through the other region. So she's just pulling one more county that was short of advocate.
For mental health, right? Okay.
Compared to all the other advocates in the region, she probably had the lowest workload count. So it worked out good. All right. Well, it's 9:15, public hearing for purchase of election equipment. I'll entertain a motion to open that.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for the purchase of election equipment.
I'll second the motion. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to open the public hearing for purchase of election equipment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I wonder if we should turn him up a little bit. So the public hearing is now open. Have we had any comments from the public prior to this?
Nope.
Is there anybody in the room or online that would like to make a comment of our purchase of election equipment over a period of, what, 3 years, is it?
3 years.
Last call for comments on the purchase of election equipment over the period of 3 years.
It's a good idea.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I will make that motion.
On a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to close the public hearing for purchase of election equipment. All those in favor say aye.
Just the wrong way around with Smith Derby.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right. On the motion from Smith and a second from Derby to close the public hearing for purchase of election equipment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Consider for approval resolution for purchase of election equipment.
And just so that we make note of it, we are required by code to have election equipment of this sort for the elections that we,
Electronic.
yes. I just wanted to make that notation.
Yes, we are.
So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for purchase of election equipment.
I'll second.
So this time it's on a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the purchase of election equipment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I wonder if we turn it down more.
No, I turned him on.
Let's just be farther away. All right, so where can we jump through? Semi-monthly county claims. Do we have those?
Yep.
So I have a question about, are all of the expenses that are happening out at the Environmental Education Center, are they all under the conservation, or are they on a separate something somewhere?
I believe that they are being paid by the Friends of the Winnebago County.
Directly, or are they? So where does our money flow through then? Is that at the end, or?
I think will be paid out of their, I don't know if he paid it this time or if we'll pay it next time, actually. It's gonna be coming out soon. It'll come out of the ARPA fund.
But paid out of the foundation, or?
No, it'll be paid out of the ARPA fund.
Okay, so they'll be getting checks from two different.
Uh-huh.
So when it goes through the foundation, is the foundation check, say Winnebago County, or does it say Winnebago County Foundation, Conservation Foundation?
I don't know, because I don't think we see those.
Okay, so it's coming directly from them. Okay. Yeah, that last project we have, the jail, there was no Friends of the Jail, so. Alumni Association.
That would be an interesting title.
I have a question on the claims.
What do you have, Bill?
And maybe it's something that's always there and I've never seen it, but, there was 10,000 for foster care.
Okay. I am guessing that is, let me just look quick. I don't want to guess.
Under which category?
Well,
There was,
you went through the claims, it was, I couldn't find it on the
1,800 under juvenile placement.
claims itself, but it's on the totals, when you get to the bottom part, the new part of the claims.
Is that the 10,000 from juvenile placement?
There was a thing on there for foster care for $10,003 or something like that.
Is that match up with the juvenile? No, it's just over 10.
That is, it's juvenile, they put them in, it's the home down, I think it's Eldora. So it's not technically
Another
foster,
one added together.
what's that?
There was two of them. There was two from Eldora and one from another detention thing.
Yeah,
And those three added together come up to that. Is that it?
yeah. They're,
Okay, all right. I was curious whether that was the only thing I could think of that it might be, but I never added the numbers up to see if they came out right.
So it's just the way the program identifies it at the end.
yeah, it's,
Yeah. No detention on there at the end is called foster care.
yep,
All right.
Central Iowa Detention. And then Cretention Center is the other one. Yep.
Do you have any more questions, Bill? Is that your motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve the semi-monthly county claims.
That's what I thought.
All right.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the semi-monthly county claims. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. I gotta start striking. What are we doing?
So drainage,
We don't, unless we have any, do we have any
I
drainage?
don't have any.
Bill, do you have any drainage? Chris is not here.
Starting up here. What was that?
Chris is not here, but do you have any drainage issues?
Issue, Larry Gagey's working on it. I was out there and saw it to begin with, but it has to do with secondary roads and stuff, but it's, nothing that isn't, it's just a repair, so.
All right.
And without Chris here, I did have, Jim Benson has an issue with some water that is being diverted from a farmer's field, and it's kind of filling his road ditch and backing up into his.
That's the one we previously talked about.
Benson from east of.
Chris has been,
Oh, it's a different Benson.
oh, different Jim Benson.
Yeah, there's a Jim Benson that we had a issue, I think it was one of the Bensons we had an issue with, just north of the bowling alley.
Oh. Well, he just left a voice message, so, and it was kind of garbled, so maybe it is him.
Because that was diverted and coming across to his place, or
Oh.
to their farm.
That's gotta be it then.
Because we've been talking to him about
Okay.
that.
Okay, so it'll be on the agenda for next week or something, or Chris will bring it up. Or it's a deal.
We've been,
Got it figured out.
Working behind the scenes.
Got it.
yep.
Okay,
Do you
so
want,
then I don't have anything.
do you want to start with giving a report for now? We've got opening.
Sure. I don't have too much today. We're kind of doing normal spring maintenance. The guys are blading wind fit, and we are doing some spot loading as well. We were hoping to be hauling crushed concrete right now, but we haven't any to buy at the moment. So we're working on some plans to have more of a planned ahead stockpile for any future years. Kind of have been getting into it slowly, and now we're just going to try and find a way to get some stockpiles up and have it available for when we need it. Right now, Fleener's at Rembrandt and has to do their portion before he can start on our portion.
Are they reusing theirs then out there?
They're reusing theirs. They've reused a mountain of it already.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been 50,000 or 70,000 ton in that pile, maybe 100, I don't know. So when he's available, we'll be buying material from him, and in the meantime, we're looking for other sources as well. So we think we have some good options, but I don't have those deals put together yet. Other than that, the dirt crew's kind of split in half today, working on work orders. All kinds of new ones coming in, and we're trying to do our best to keep up with them. The list is still manageable, I'd say. So we're able to get to people's complaints pretty quickly, I think.
Anything else?
One more thing I think I'll mention is we're expecting retirement from one of our mechanics this fall, late fall. So we're trying to come up with a schedule for replacement. It's not a position we want to leave open or have no overlap, so I'd like to get that process moving. The trick is he hasn't given any kind of official notice, so I think I'll just have a talk with him, and we'll just pick a schedule that works. But I want to make sure it's okay with you if we have a couple of months of overlap, if that's how it works out.
He's talking late fall, you said?
Yeah. October. If we have a couple months of overlap, we could either just work heavy on mechanic stuff or even have one of them, do other work. It isn't normal that we would have a lot of overlap, usually because we don't get a lot of notice. But in this case, the mechanic spot's kind of an important position for, record keeping and knowledge of the equipment and parts room and all that kind of stuff, and it'd be advantageous to have some overlap so they can learn from each other, teach each other.
Okay.
So if we started advertising, let's say in May, went like a month or 6 weeks, then you could possibly start doing interviews in the middle of June or July. It takes a couple months to get somebody hired, so we're just wanting to kind of be out in front of it.
So you're thinking possibly by the start date would be what, October or September?
Well, that's the trick of it. If you advertise and you interview and try to hire somebody, they're probably going to have some opinion about when they want to start. It's probably going to be.
So it's going to be kind of variable.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hardly say, you're hired. You can start in 3 months. I mean, that's not. It's maybe possible, but that wouldn't be typical.
So the most you'd have would be like hire in August and have an overlap of August, September or something like that.
Yeah, something like maybe 3 months even, if like everything went smooth. But we're also a little bit nervous that we won't have a candidate pool big enough to be satisfied and might have to make adjustments and re-advertise. So we don't want to.
How do you work that into the budget then?
Yeah, that's a trick. It's kind of the same way we work seasonal help and overtime hours in. We just make a pretty good guess.
So it might reflect on how you go into summer next year.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt it costs more money to have 2 guys instead of 1 for 3 months. And that really isn't specifically planned out in the budget.
Well, I see the advantage to doing it as long as you can stay within the budget. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, if you overlap, as long as you can keep them busy, I mean, that's gonna take off, and the timing is good because it's fall. I mean, right? I mean, you'd have plenty of work.
Yeah, I would sure think. I mean, we always have mowers that need to be moving, and that, that's just done by guys that have other jobs.
We might have to pick this up. We're running late for a public hearing here, so hang on. 9:30 or so, public hearing for purchase of equipment for sector technology for Sheriff's Department.
Motion to open the public hearing for the purchase of equipment from Sector Technology for the Sheriff's Department.
I'll second it. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to open the public hearing for purchase of equipment for sector technology for Sheriff's Department. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Any previous comments from the public on this?
No.
Any comments from the floor or online on the purchase of equipment from sector technology for Sheriff's Department? And this would be over a period of 3 years also.
During a public hearing.
Was it 2 years or 3 years on this?
This is 3.
3 years.
It's 3 years. You got Mike and Steve up there.
All right. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the purchase of equipment from Sector Technology for the Sheriff's Department.
I'll second.
Motion from Derby and a second from Smith to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval, purchase of equipment from Sector Technology.
It's actually a resolution.
Okay,
What are they buying?
Cameras, vests, laptops.
I remember.
law enforcement equipment, including hardware, software, installation, training, and tech support as well.
They only have so much lifespan.
I'll make the motion to approve purchase of equipment from Sector Technology.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Oh, go ahead, Bill. All right. We got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the purchase of equipment from Sector Technology. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Okay, Scott, got more time if you want to continue on.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else, just want to make sure you're relatively comfortable with me getting that process going. Hiring, I have on my schedule May 1st to start looking at advertising, so.
So Scott, you have two main mechanics?
Yeah.
Bill, you have any comments on that?
Well, it kind of makes sense to have them overlap a little bit, so one can learn a little bit from the other before all the knowledge leaves.
All right, well, I guess you got consensus.
Yeah, I'll kind of work out more of a specific schedule, and we got to work on some ads and stuff too, so I'll just try and keep it moving here. That's I think all I have in general.
All right, did you want, do I just, his name's on this,
Just sign your name and then write, vice chair.
Does that mean you stand for them?
No,
All right, let's see. Consider for approval, fiscal year 2024 secondary road budget and 5-year construction.
Well, there's two items here. The secondary road budget, which is a mirror of the, local budget that we just approved, just a little bit summarized and tailored toward what the DOT is looking to report. The 5-year program is really what we talked about 2 times when we were talking about our list of construction and maintenance projects. 5-year program only includes what is defined as construction projects, so asphalt overlays more than 2 inches and bridge replacements where the bridge is more than 20 foot long. And I don't think I'll go through all the list of projects, but if anybody wants to know, they could call our office and get an update about where projects are.
So 2 different documents.
I might mention that I did wait to put this on the agenda when we approve our budget, so we will get a little slap on the wrist from the DOT because they didn't move their deadline from April 15th for submittal.
Sorry.
Oh, well,
So noted.
yeah.
just because it's interesting. The total in the secondary roads budget is $6.6 million. That's a lot of roads, a lot of responsibility.
There's clarification. Number 5. If you look at that, under 5% is new equipment. Well, was there a discussion on the budget then, that 5-year program? Do you want separate motions on that?
I don't need separate motions. Make it one.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 secondary road budget and the 5-year construction program.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the fiscal year 2024 secondary road budget and 5-year construction program. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval utility permit for Bevcom to bury fiber optic cable in Eden Township.
This is a project to put in new fiber optic a couple of miles on the northern border of the county. We'll be trenching it in the back slope and boring it under culverts and roads. Should be a pretty minor project.
This is in Eden.
It's on the way to Priceline, I said.
Let's get those ones confused. It's R34, whatever that goes to.
Yeah, that's the Priceline, blacktop, isn't it?
I'll get your signature on it.
Yep.
Did you make a motion for that fiber optic?
No.
Did I miss your motion for that?
What?
Did I miss your motion for that?
For which, for this?
Yeah.
No,
I haven't done it yet.
Okay,
We're still
just making sure.
identifying the area.
Okay.
Well,
I'll make a motion for approval of the utility permit for Bevcom to bury fiber optic cable in Eden.
I'll second the motion.
I'll second it.
Little delay. All right, I'll give it to Bill. Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold, to approve the utility permit for Bevcom to bury fiber optic cable in Eden Township. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Perfect timing. 9:45.
We just need another. All right, 9:45. Jerry Anderson to discuss paving 235th. Morning, Jerry.
Good morning. I was here a year or so ago and kind of went through this with you before. But there's been a lot more discussion in the area of Lake Mills and around. The road is really, really dusty and really rough. And the state renovated the lake about 7 years ago for better water quality and for better fishing. And it really worked. The fishing is really heavy, a lot of traffic, a lot of boat traffic, pontoons, water skiing. And they'll blade it once in a while, but within a day, and I found a curve down to the lake, and that place is real washboardy. And the dust is, people won't take their boats out the lake because of the dust. And I know several people that got nice cars that want to go down the lake, they won't go on it either. And I measured it, from the city limit, blacktop, to where the state road goes down to the boat ramp, it's 1.2 miles. And it goes 445th Street, which is east of town from the nursing home, out, I don't know, it's about 3/4 of a mile, then it goes south on 235th Avenue. And all that's 1.2 miles. That's the main thing. It's just getting so much more traffic, and it's just so dusty and rough all the time. So
Jerry, where's the city limits?
You know, the railroad tracks crosses there?
By Scott's?
Yep. By, just past John Carlson's. And the railroad track goes at an angle there. And then there's a driveway that goes back to
That's
Bowden.
the city limits?
Yep. And the blacktop stops right there. And it goes past the airport, past Foster Hartman's, and then straight south of the lake.
Is it paved to the city limit?
Yep.
Scott, do you know the traffic count on that road?
According to the DOT, it's 110 on the east-west portion and then 50 on the north-south portion.
What was that taken?
I think it's from 2019, and I can't tell you what time of year.
Well, April to November are the real busy times. And there's a lot of ice fishing too. But we get a lot of Minnesota people, it's surprising. And I'd say within 10 counties around here, Black Hawk, Cassuth, Winnebago, Mitchell, a lot of those people. We got 2 parking lots, north and south. And on weekends, sometimes you can't find a place to park a boat. It's that busy.
So is that the only entrance?
There's an entrance on the south side also. That's in Worth County.
And that's in Worth County, yep.
And that's just, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile
Yeah.
gravel that's up to a,
Just east of the state park.
yep.
So I know the answer to that question. I just wanted to make sure we had it on
Mhm.
the recording.
And this is the only lake in Winnebago County. So it's a lot of use. It's getting more now since they rented it. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to add, but that's what I had.
It also, what Jerry said too, it has gained momentum, as we all know, the traffic, of course, and it is year-round, which is what's opened our eyes. And then I'm curious too, do you know, is there, tourism in Iowa is a big buzzword and stuff, and like the state did, when did they put that cement in?
Oh,
But anyway, it's on the state ground though, right?
yeah, it's all state.
So it is
Probably
cemented.
2,000.
It is cement, road down part of this way into the lake, it's already done. And is there any grant, would they ever team up with a county or anything that if it has to do with getting to a state recreation area, do you know? Has anybody ever looked into that possibility or to help out possibly, or? Because strictly what we're talking is the attraction there is recreation, boating, fishing, hiking, kayaking, and it is year round, so that's why it would be neat, a little more accessible as far as, without the washboard and the
Scott, are you aware of
gravel
any
for trailer and stuff.
monies available for that?
The only money that I'm aware of without searching specifically for that is access to federal lands. And this being a state park wouldn't qualify for that.
It's not a state park. It's a state wildlife area. And that was bought with Pittman Robinson money, which is federal.
Oh, yeah. The refuge, yeah, forgot about that, Pittman Roberts.
That part of it right there is the Pittman Robertson.
It's back,
I knew the west side was.
the whole lake in that area is bought in the back in the 40s. I think. That road going from Highway 9 south to Pilot Knob, is that state or county?
Hancock County.
One more time, where is it?
Highway 9 east of Fort City,
Uh-huh.
and then south to Pilot Knob, that mile and a half, whatever.
That mile is county.
That's blacktop to a recreational area.
Yeah, I believe it was paved before it was turned over to the county, 'cause it used to be a state road.
Yeah.
I think that was in the 80s.
I know of other areas that, just the blacktop goes, stops, gravel road. And for rhyme or reason, you go up by, I think it's 844 by Three Fingers Campground. Bancroft blacktop, goes a mile and a half and it stops. Gravel two ways and blacktop there. There's only two people live on the road.
It's also kind of a bypass route for trucks too.
Well, this road gets used in the fall by a lot of farmers too.
It's kind of a bypass there too. You take 445th and then back up to 105. So the farmers, like on the south side of town, they can kind of bypass Lake Mills and get to the east side, and vice versa.
You have an estimated cost on something like that?
If you're gonna put me on the spot, I'll say $1 million a mile.
It seems like that's what we figured last time. Depends on what
So,
you're,
1.2 miles, maybe 1.2 million.
depending on what durability you're putting in it.
Yeah, I expect you'd have to buy right away, reshape the road bed, do stabilization, pave it,
Does it
new culverts.
matter with that railroad crossing in there too, or is that not an issue?
I believe it's paved on both sides already,
It is.
so you could,
Goes up to, almost up to that guy's driveway.
yes, even if it wasn't, we could get it up to, pave up to it, I guess, with permission from the railroad. So I wouldn't say it's an obstacle, it does make the project
I just know.
more
that it's-
complicated.
I just know that it's always, more
Yeah.
complicated when you have the railroad.
There is another railroad crossing that you have to go over to get that,
There is.
Yeah,
That city,
and that's a mess. No, this is the one by
But that
One of
is,
them house.
the one up by
Oh, yeah.
Al's house.
I thought that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a beach.
That's a mess.
that would make it more complicated.
But even if you stop there, you wouldn't necessarily, if we could just get it all the way to that,
You can just,
you
is
could
that
stop there,
close
it
to
could.
the county
It's
line?
just a
Is
few-
that railroad really close to the county line,
oh, it's
or not?
a couple hundred yards west.
Yeah, still.
It's still,
Yeah. You go around the curve, and then first fence line, that's county line.
Apple Avenue is
Quarter
coming
mile.
down.
But if a guy could get it from that blacktop to that, would be great. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily, you're just a few yards then from,
To the pavement.
to the pave, to the concrete that's there. Be better than what we have.
But that crossing does have blacktop on both sides of it.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah.
The second crossing.
The second crossing right by my house
Yeah,
is,
there is.
I mean, it's only like 6
But
feet.
when
but
It is cement or blacktop, cement maybe.
Really?
Well, it's a mess.
Drive over.
It's rough
It's rough.
crossing.
Oh, it's rough, that's their problem.
Gotta go slow. Gotta go slow.
So I'm at the airport, almost every day for an hour training my dogs, and there's vehicles going, 10 to 15 every day. Every hour for that hour I'm out there, they're going across, going to the lake.
There is more than
What
there used to be.
I live there too. What amazes me, that's kind of a why there, you know. You go east from my place, you can go south, or you can go north a little further. And I see cars come in and they come down my road and they go back the same way. Why they take that road, I don't know, and don't go over the blacktop, they're coming and going to work and whatnot, it makes a lot of traffic.
We have a lot of that,
I can't figure out
They
why
take
they're
the-
doing,
the bypass.
I like some back roads.
yeah.
I just wanted to add that there's, besides the boat traffic, it can also be used, there's motorcycles that go out just to the railroad tracks past my house, and they'll stop and come back. Nice cars, like I said, they're out for a drive, they'll stop at the gravel, turn around, come back. Bicyclists, there's a lot of joggers around.
And the
The
four-wheelers.
airport's there, Foster's house is
four-wheelers
there,
are
Al's house
full
is there.
blast.
There's a
I
lot of
think it's
activity,
expecting-
not just boaters. There's a lot of people that are just nature lovers who would like to go out, you know, there's a lot of wildlife in the area. But once they hit the gravel, I'm not taking my car.
It could almost take the place of what was voted down years ago when they were trying to get
Bike
a
trail.
bike trail.
Yeah, it would help with the place part of it.
So can we research, Scott, on this any federal monies that could possibly, or how?
I can check on that program. I'm not very familiar with it since we haven't ever really had a project that I was aware qualified.
So do you think that's direct money from Pittman Robinson?
I don't know anything about that program either.
That's like the gun tax
Something like
monies?
that, something, any of the sports, yeah, hunting, fishing,
Well, you can tell me
hunting, that is.
My guess is that because it's not listed as owned by the United States of America, that it doesn't qualify, but I can look into it.
I think it's worth our time looking into it and see what we can come up with.
Jerry, do you know how much of that, how many acres is out there that's federal? That would pretty-
Well, it was bought with federal money and then the state takes it over.
Oh,
So
But the
the
restrictions
lake
from,
itself is about 800 acres and the land, it's gotta be 1,100, 1,200 altogether probably, counting the uplands.
all right, well, I guess we'll try and do our due diligence looking into what kind of funding would be available and maybe try to estimate the costs at least, what it would take to get out.
The money you get for, how much money you get a year for these windmills?
Less and less, how's that? They keep messing with our formulas and it's really dropped back. They'll be gaining more each year for the next, 4 years or so, but it's being absorbed into the budget, it seems like. We gotta look at that. The TIF only goes through 2028, and they put us underwater as far as revenue coming in and what our payments are for the road improvements we've already done. So we're trying to catch up there.
Yeah, so the short answer is we don't have any until
Excess.
28 for sure.
And then we lose the TIF portion of it.
Yeah.
so just so that we're all on the same page, to summarize it, you're not here because of dust, that you don't like the dust really necessarily or anything. You're here because the road is in poor shape because of the amount of traffic
It's like traffic with
that
trailers,
is
yes.
with trailers. And you were also saying that it is more than just a gravel road in the county. I mean, that it,
It's gained
Those-
momentum, yes, as far as use, definitely, for,
right, and it has some specific.
year-round.
It has some real specific, uses
Definitely,
and,
for recreation.
benefits to the county. Did I say that okay for you guys?
I'd say so.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's bringing money in from outside the county too.
Out of
There's
town.
people come up from
Out of
Des
state.
Moines and all over,
A lot of Minnesota cars are coming down up from the north on that access,
so they gotta be
It's
buying
pretty- it's
gas.
kinda
and
neat, yeah.
food.
and it is year-round.
And it's more used than the south entrance to the lake.
That's a pretty small one to the south.
And that's
Oh, yeah.
not
Not much
improved,
room
that's
parking.
just kind of a dirt ramp.
Right, that's just,
This is all concrete parking lot.
They got a new
There's a
one,
boat dock.
it's a new ramp, but just concrete, but gravel parking and small. Kinda out of sight, out of mind.
And you really can't put boats in, you can put a kayak in at
yep.
the,
It's the only two spots, you're right, yep,
right,
down by the houses, yep. That's pretty primitive.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they
And
made
zero
some,
parking.
they made some improvements in that in the
Yep.
last few years, but you still really can't put a boat in there.
you could, but
No
it's,
place to park. which
it has
is-
to be a light one, John boat or something.
Yeah, little back boat, and no parking, zero parking.
Yeah, there's no parking.
So I think something we'll look at and have more discussions.
Perfect.
Appreciate.
I'll make one comment. I assume that they are not interested in this, but we could have dust control applied to the entire stretch. And that does two things. One, it keeps the dust down, and two, it keeps it from washboarding so quickly. It seems like a short-term fix, but it could possibly be done for less than $5,000, and it takes a lot of $5,000 to make $1 million. So, it's an option.
How often would you have to do that?
Most people do it once or twice a year.
Okay, so when they grade it,
But then you don't grade it, right?
They try not to grade it after it's treated until it, gets in a condition that they have to go out there.
But
So
they
usually
really,
it'd be,
you really amp up the condition of it before you, at least you try to, before you oil it,
right,
so that it's,
right. We try to blade it 1 or 2 days ahead of time, so it's in, perfect condition. There's 100 residents in the county that do that already, and a lot of them find a lot of value in it.
We could try it.
I'd say it was better than nothing.
Definitely.
And
Try it until we get a new road.
While we're investigating everything else.
Yeah,
we can try that.
that'd be
Yeah.
excellent.
yeah, that'd be. And in the meantime, see if a trail can go along there and see if there's monies that way.
If you have a trail on the
Didn't,
in the right of way, you're gonna have to have more width.
I know.
Who put the bike trail from 4C to Pilot Knob?
There was a committee,
That was along Highway 9.
there was a committee that was formed,
That was for transportation dollars. It used to be the Transportation Enhancement Funds. Now it's called the TAP Funds. And that was a partnership with the DOT to get it in that area. And then later then they put the shoulder one on the blacktop. Was that our side or was that Hancock?
it was our project, and I want to say maybe that was Hanson Foundation
That funded that?
that funded the widening part.
I know Robert was on that committee and Tracy Beaver.
Yeah, we're missing all the experts for sure.
Uh-huh.
The only one that gained on that was Holland Contracting. Made a lot of money off of that. I've never seen anybody on it. Maybe once.
I've used it several times.
I've been on it.
You've used it several times.
Uh-huh.
The one in the ditch is not my favorite one.
For
I
how
don't
many
like
years?
taking kids on a shoulder one.
Been over it several times.
All right, well,
Unless you got a rail bed, none of them are perfect. I like the rail bed trails. We don't have any of those available right now. Wow,
So we're gonna take it into consideration.
perfect.
Thanks for.
Thanks for your insight. All righty.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, what's your name?
I'm Carla.
Carol Reese.
Yes.
I was coming to see you too. I'll have to make it another time.
Okay.
I probably should ask those guys what their names were. Do you know all of
I
them?
know most of them.
We know them all, yep. Can we just give it to you later?
Sure.
All right. So, are we on to number 14 now? Or do we want to discuss number 15 first before we go to 14?
It's up to you.
I don't wanna do either one.
He's here.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we'll do number 15, consider for approval drop site for rural recycling in Thompson. Did you have something to go along with this at all, or
I was just seeing if you had,
identified it?
mhm.
Well, I know the one other site we had talked about in town is probably not gonna be a viable option because we aren't gonna be partnering with the city of Thompson on that, so, at this point. So to me, it looks like the most favorable one would be, kind of behind the post office on our maintenance property for equipment, right along the alley. My thought is if it was backed in near the alley, so somebody can just come through the alley and they wouldn't even have to necessarily stop on our property, but they could. In the northeast corner of it.
Do you have that on Beacon or anything that we could look at that?
Pull it up.
Thank you.
Because there's probably about 4 or 5 places to park there from the building going east. So if we only took up one spot, they could still get out and walk around or drive around or whatever.
How much space is needed for them to pick that up? They just back up to it,
Yeah,
pull it up on, don't they?
only about a 10-foot.
And would he approach it from the south then, or from the north?
Get back in from the south, I would say. You'd want to be able to get at each side.
Mm-hmm.
The Thompson ambulance shed didn't work out, or?
We're not going to utilize it this first year. So we have no agreement with it. They might be selling it, who knows? It's up to the city to decide what they're going to do with that. I really didn't get a lot of warm and fuzzies
No?
talking with the council.
You did talk to their council?
Well, I talked to a couple.
No, it's, is it, Van Buren?
That is First Avenue and now just off of Jackson. It's west of Jackson. The alley on First Avenue. Van Buren's on the east, or on the west side of it. So yeah, the area between Jackson and Van Buren on First.
Who does like snow removal in that area then? That's an alley that belongs to
The city does
the
that.
city.
And we do our snow removal in that lot, so.
Mhm.
Help me out, Scott. Is that, am I close?
Yep, you're on it.
Okay.
And there's not room on the west side of the maintenance shed?
Yeah, the shed runs right up to the right of way, so while it looks like it when you're standing out there,
Oh, it does.
it's in city right of way, so it's probably not the right way to do it. I mean, there's not an abundance of room there by any means. I'll have to talk to the guys about where we want to put it. I'm sure they won't be thrilled about it.
So,
It would back up towards the LP tank then, is where I was thinking.
where is that? Can you point to it?
So straight south of that is where I was thinking.
Is that secondary roads LP tank?
Yeah. Must be.
But they can get that to that from the alley when they fill it.
I haven't seen that. Is it a trailer?
Just
It's just
like a
one of
car
those
trailer
roll-off
with
ones.
containers on it. So if you see the pup sitting there now, it'd be right next to that pup then. You have two people that work out of that shop. So
Yeah.
you'd only possibly have a pup and two cars out there.
Yeah, possibly a mower. Times. Tractor mower.
But it doesn't sit out at night or anything.
Well, tractor mower might if they're using it, you know,
Oh.
it doesn't normally live there, so it doesn't have a spot in the shed.
So there's no fences around any of that back there, anything that's just open to the alley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's on the north, site? Is that a house or what is that?
There's a house, yeah.
There's a house there?
House, I think a garage, I'm not sure. Zoom in on it a little more. That's better.
Yeah, there you go. So do any activities happen behind the library or, I mean, it's not like a park space or anything, is it?
Definitely not.
Okay.
The
I
ci-
just
I think
haven't
the
been
city
down that
mows it.
alley for a long time.
The city probably mows it. There used to be a beauty shop in the one end, in the one corner of it, well, actually, both corners, and they're both since gone. They're renovating the west end of where that one was.
And then what's the white building to the right of the LP tank?
That is the back end of the former Mike Tweed building, I'm not sure.
Oh,
Who owns that now? Click on the white one.
Janine Tweed.
oh, she
Oh,
still
she
owns
still
it?
owns it, okay. I think it's been for sale though. That was another option we had looked at for the ambulance,
Oh,
because it's got a garage and quarters in there, so down the road, if they sell the other one, there is another option for,
So, would it help if we had the LP tank moved?
why is it an issue?
Well, we could, how about this corner?
That really gets close to residential.
That's where the trucks kind of
Yeah,
pull
don't
out.
forget, we use this for a shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just asking.
At least over there to the east of the putt, that's less traffic for our trucks.
For sure. Well, I was just thinking it would free up that space, if the LP tank could be moved, it could free up a little more space.
Right where your cursor is almost where you could put the trailer. If you pull your cursor down and to the right just a little bit, that's where I figured on having it down there.
Going this way?
No,
Or this
just
way?
backed in from the south,
Yeah, from the south.
parallel to the pup.
So Scott, do you enter that building from the east side at all?
The overhead doors are on the south side, and the walk-through door is on the east side by that closest pickup there.
So right now, it looks like there's room for two vehicles. Looks like one's stacked in there, probably a county truck there. And there's room for a tractor between the pup and the trucks, and then there's space on the east.
Yeah. We just have to kind of pull our stuff south, leave that space there, and check to see what we're storing outside and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Used to have a blade rack there. I don't know if that's there anymore, but I don't know. This will be an adjustment for sure, and I hope it,
Well, the other option would be put it on the highway.
yeah.
Pick
Would you
your,
rather have this one or that one?
I know
was
there's a
hoping
lot
it
of,
wouldn't come
there's a
down to
lot of
those two
people that would
options.
rather have it on the highway.
Yeah.
A lot of neighbors in that area that would rather have it on the highway,
Why is that?
because it would be farther away from their site.
Why do they want that?
So we'd still have Wi-Fi from that building?
Well, we talked about maybe
We don't have Wi-Fi currently.
we'd have to maybe put it in there to have camera capability,
Mhm.
which you talked like it'd be beneficial to them maybe sometime.
I'm sure they'd appreciate it, but it isn't something we had planned to do in the immediate future.
I don't know if it's something that can come out of that budget then, to put Wi-Fi in there
Oh, I would think so.
for the camera and then they can utilize it or something.
That makes sense. So is that all gravel? The whole thing is gravel or some of it's grass or?
You know, we don't mow up there, so if there's any grass, it's not very good.
The neighbor might take care of the north end.
Was he gonna put up a camera then too? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
And
Cameras
he
and
would take
signage.
care of doing that and buying the camera and putting it up and everything?
I think he was gonna provide the camera, but if we could provide the Wi-Fi for him to connect, if he needs it, we're not sure what kind of camera. If he just do trail cam to start with, that would just be
Just if there was
fun,
any
motion,
issues.
identify people, but
Yeah.
I put up a security system recently and it's so reasonable and it just goes right to my phone.
Yeah.
but you need Wi-Fi for it.
Yes.
I gotta put up some signage or anything, something about rules and phone number to call and
Not for city residents and
all that stuff.
we gotta have rules because it's not for the city of Thompson residents, it's for the county rural plus Scarville and Brake.
Yeah, what do he'll pick up junk too, if junk shows up, all that sort of thing.
On next to it,
Well, on probably the whole property.
I mean, if it blows out of there,
I mean, if people bring stuff there and
Furniture.
well, it depends. I mean, if they're gonna dump it there, they'll probably dump it right next to it, but
yeah, I mean, our guys will be there every day, and if something looks funny, they'll know, but, yeah, they're just,
There'll be a number to call right on there that they can call it. If it's something that they can just handle easily, we would certainly expect them to. I would expect them to
sure.
make a phone call and pick up a few things, but if it's,
that's where the camera comes in, we know who did it and they can have it back.
You really need to look on the bright side, Scott. From here on out, you can just throw the pop bottles when you're drinking them right there where it is. You don't have to go anywhere. So, right there in the. That's right.
Pretty bleak bright side.
I'm trying.
Hey, nobody wants a better recycling service in this county than me. You know, we're trying to.
Got it.
Do
And
it the best way
If
possible.
Waste Management succeeds in their drive to sign people up on a pay for curbside, there's not gonna be as much traffic here.
Yeah. I just know that this facility's not used to having foot traffic, and so I'm just nervous about what that'll be.
well, if your machinery is coming all out of the south side, it's not coming out of the east, it shouldn't interfere with your vehicles.
Bill, are you online?
Yes,
What's your thoughts on this, at the old shop in Thompson?
well, there are no good options. No matter what happens, somebody's not going to like it, and I guess the rural county residents put a lot of money into the secondary roads budget, and the little headache that it might occur for them seems like pretty small issue to me. We can try it there, and if it doesn't work, we'll do something else. But right now, that looks like to be our best option.
Yeah, in the contract, it does say that, for now, that's, the address, so it doesn't say we can't move it at some point, but I think we might want to try it there.
Yes, we have to have something in place by what date?
Well, we need to notify people where it's gonna be, because nobody's got communication from us. We're gonna have to send out cards somehow to the people that are gonna utilize it. So sooner the better.
I would think that we would just move on it now.
All right.
You wanna make that your motion?
I will.
I'll second the motion. So I've got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Derby to approve the drop site for rural recycling at the old shop and now maintenance, or what do you call it, storage, equipment
We
storage
call
shed?
it the Uptown Shop in
The Uptown Shop in Thompson. I had the address at one
So I
time,
call it
it's in the
anyway.
contract. It's on First Avenue, yeah, I think it's considered First Avenue.
Yep, First Avenue West.
Corner of Van Buren and First.
Yeah. The only way I got the address was through Google. I couldn't get it on the Beacon site because it's not we don't get the mail there. So, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 14, we need to get a hold of our county attorney for this.
Yeah.
Chelsea, can you come down for number 14? All right, thanks.
Yeah, awesome.
So I've been by the site a couple of times up there. When I come back from Albertley, I usually divert on that road just to look at the site. And I'm looking at those cars that we're talking about.
Know what they are?
Well, I can't
Everyone's
figure out
curious.
if they were originally at some amusement park on a rail or something, or if they were actually motorized vehicles. I haven't got close enough to, I'd almost like to buy one of them.
I know, I
They're
can't
kinda
tell either what they are.
I have seen people convert things like that and get good money for them by putting.
Yeah, some fun stuff. Hello. Hello.
Good morning. So we're gonna discuss the next step with possible action for Roger Cruz situation.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do is go under that abatement of the nuisance procedure. And I've been looking into that. There are a couple of different ways we can do it. We can file like a county infraction, which is basically like a civil citation that's actually filed with the court. The benefit of that would potentially be the court order then would be a judgment against any property that he has, any real property that he has. I don't know if he has property in his name other than the parcel that we're talking about or not, I guess, I'm not sure.
There's that other one too, isn't there? There's two of them.
But one of them might be in that Emily.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Look,
yeah. It would also attach to any property that he would obtain. A judgment is typically good for well, in total, 20 years, 10 years on real property. Otherwise, there is a procedure where we can just provide notice, require that he abate the nuisance after, give him reasonable time to do so. If he doesn't do so, we can go in and abate the nuisance if that's what we want to do, and then assess those costs against the property as a special assessment for property taxes.
So do the fines and fees that we've already imposed still stay in place, or does this take the place of?
Well, I would say once we filed, that this would sort of supersede the zoning part. So I couldn't find anything that said that we could assess the zoning fees as a special assessment. There's a specific statute that says you can do that with the abatement of the nuisance procedure, and I didn't find a similar statute for zoning.
Okay.
I can keep looking on that, but like I said, there's a specific statute that allows it for the nuisance procedure. So,
So his other property on 160th north of Main, that one is in his and his wife's name. So,
okay.
but then there's that Emily one that's up on Apple Avenue. So,
And like I said, with the county infraction, I mean, if we had the court order, it would attach if he accrues property, you know, in the next 10 years, so.
If only within the county, or any?
No, a judgment attaches on any property he
Any-
might own.
Okay.
Yeah. It'd be like a normal judgment lien.
so what type of action would we have to take first for us?
As far as like what official action you guys need to do, I would just to authorize me to move forward with abating the nuisance. There's just a notice, for both, either option, there's a notice that we certify mail or personally serve him.
Can
And then
we
move forward.
specifically request the personal delivery of it rather than the mail?
I can, yeah, certified mail satisfies the statute, but we can have it served.
Okay. Just because we've had some difficulty when we were doing mailings at one time.
Sure.
Well, I would certainly like to authorize those actions.
So you're making a motion?
Does it need to be a motion, or is it just an authorization for?
I think it needs to be a motion.
Okay,
Yeah, and I will need to know specifically which route you want me to take. If you want me to do the court process through the county infraction, or if we want to try just the normal abatement of nuisance procedure.
So which has more teeth than which is faster?
So neither of them are probably fast, but the county infraction is the one that would attach as a judgment on his property because it'll actually be a court order. The other procedure is we provide notice. If he doesn't comply, then we can go in there and clean it up, and then we can assess those costs as a special assessment, but there's no court order, so it's not like a judgment lien that would attach on any property he owns. We would be able to apply it, the cost as a special assessment to that property, but it wouldn't just be like a general judgment lien. Does that make sense?
Can you do both eventually? If you do the civil
Well,
citation for now and.
So the county infraction, so you can actually get a court order that says we can go in and clean it up and have property taxes, or have the cost assessed as property taxes that way too. That one would probably cover all of our bases if we move forward with.
Yeah, we could clean it up and he could fill it back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see that working.
Yeah, other than that, it's gonna be, the cost would be taxed as the special assessment.
But the civil citation is a process where that can be attached to the property as a fine, or how is it?
The cost would be a judgment lien against the property.
The cost of the citation.
The cost of cleaning it up, if that's what you want to
Okay,
do.
that's the civil
Also,
citation.
probably the cost of the citation too. I'll have to look at that specifically. I think for a first offense, it's like $750 is the maximum fee on a first offense county infraction.
So, and then how soon can you do a second infraction when they keep doing it?
I would have to look at that. Frankly, if the first one doesn't work, I don't know that a second's going to, but but I'd have to look at that if we can go in and do a second one for the same issue, or if we just keep working under the first, I'm not sure. Does the county intend to go in and clean it up at all, assuming he does not comply with the nuisance abatement, or is that something you're not interested in doing?
I don't know if it makes a difference, but there are people in the area who are interested in the property, to purchase the property. I don't know that they would purchase the property.
I think they want to stop the business,
I think they want to just stop the business, yeah.
the improper business.
So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what's best for the people who live in the area.
I mean, I can't guarantee he's gonna do anything, so that's up to you guys, whether you wanna clean it up yourselves or as the county and then assess the cost or not. I mean, we can't force him to sell the property, of course, or anything like that. Now, with the cost taxed as a special assessment, he's gonna have to pay that with his property taxes, and if he doesn't eventually, it'll go up for tax sale.
But
Just as if you don't pay
which is
it
gonna draw
normally.
it out longer? Because we really don't, we've drawn this issue out.
Which
Way too
part?
long.
So you're not answering my question though. Does the county want to go in and clean it up or not? You don't have, this is not something you're committing to today,
Right.
but just so I know process-wise how we're moving forward. Is this something you guys have considered or?
So the other option besides cleaning it up was what?
The fine gets taxed and it sits there.
Then it goes up for tax sale eventually because.
If he
it's not
doesn't
paid
pay
for it or
the
whatever.
taxes, yeah. It's just gonna be a lot smaller amount than if you were to go in and clean it up.
So
if that
the
makes
almost $3,000 that he's accrued now in fines can't be assessed on his property.
Not that I have found. I will keep looking. That's why I think emailed Susan and said I always prefer the nuisance procedure over the zoning.
Yeah.
Because the zoning I don't think has a lot of teeth, but I can keep looking at that. I just haven't been able to find anything that says it. It's very clear with the nuisance procedure that you can do that.
Go ahead.
There
Bill.
shouldn't be a great cost in cleaning it up because most of it is sellable iron. So you would hire, if you hired somebody to do it, you'd almost end up having them give you a bid on because there's value to all that iron that's out there.
Yeah, iron's high right now too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad right now. It's over 200. But the thing is, he's still operating in there, and how's that going to work? We're going to have deputy sheriff out there
Yes.
controlling things.
Yeah. And if you're interested in that route, I'll look more into how that process might work as far as cleaning it up and what you do with the material, at that point.
Do we claim the material or is it his material?
That's what I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would do with that. So that, especially if it does have significant value, I wasn't sure if there is a lot of value out there or not, but I would need to look into that. So the difference between the county infraction and the normal abatement procedure, or where you just give notice, is that the county infraction is the one that will be a judgment lien, one way or the other, because it's a court order. So it'll show up in abstracts if he goes to sell any property. When he purchases property, it attaches in the next. So I believe a judgment lien is good for 20 years. It's good on real estate for 10 years. So if you went to sell a piece of property in the next 10 years, you'd have to satisfy whatever those fees and stuff were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He has a history of not complying. So whatever is the best way to assure
To force the issue.
compliance.
I think probably the county infraction route then. That way we have a court order and court oversight on it as well.
I feel like we've done our due diligence in giving him lots of opportunities to make this right.
To do it on his own.
And it doesn't mean that eventually we go back in and do the other part of it too to clean it up if we have to.
Well, and you can clean it up under the county infraction
Oh, you can.
process too. Yeah, you just gotta get a court order. So basically, the court will give him time to clean it up, and then if he doesn't comply, we come back in. and
Much
say-
like we have.
Yes, but this would then be a court order that will have a little more weight, and then if he doesn't do so, then we can go back and ask for an order authorizing us to clean it up and then assessing those costs.
I think that would be good.
I think so too.
Want to make a motion,
Yes.
Director, to go for the county infraction?
Yes, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. I'll second the motion. We got a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to direct the county attorney to move forward with a county infraction process on the property of Roger Cruz. Any further discussion? Any definition we need to put in there further?
I don't believe so, and when I go through, so I'll have to enumerate specifically what he's in violation of with the nuisance stuff, and so if I have any questions about that, I'll just reach out. I filed the infraction myself, it's like a civil complaint, basically, that I just alleged. I do the same thing, it's like when I do a social host violation for, social host parties, but so I have that form and everything, I just gotta plug everything in and make sure I have all the information and then file it. He'll have a date to appear. If he doesn't appear, then judgment's automatically awarded to us for this $750, which is that first amount. If he doesn't get it cleaned up, we just go back in and ask, for that court order to clean it up if that's what the county wants to do.
Okay. All right. Have we, yeah, that's just discussion so far. We haven't voted yet, right?
We did not vote.
Okay. So I've got a motion on the floor by Smith, seconded by Derby, to move forward with directing the county attorney to move forward with a county infraction through the nuisance ordinance. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
We got everything, didn't we?
I think we did open forum even, didn't we?
Yeah. We didn't have anybody speak words. Yep. We stand adjourned. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep, have a good day. Have some pie for me.